Many units and departments at UW are committed to the values of diversity, equity, and inclusion, or DEI. One impactful way to help others feel included is the language we use daily. For example, you might have heard of the term microaggressions. Microaggressions are language or actions we engage in that make other people feel devalued, dismissed, uncomfortable, or alienated because of some element of their identity.
Moments when one person has engaged in a microaggression against another can be challenging for anyone. They can be especially complicated for people who have power over others. If you are a professor or a manager, you may have been in a position where a colleague or student gave you feedback about your usage of microaggression language. After we have engaged in harm, it can be hard to know what to do next to restore the work relationship. Here are some tips for how you can react in the moment.
First, listen to understand. Often when we receive feedback, we may be caught off guard. This can threaten our image of ourselves. During this uncomfortable moment, part of us listens to what the other person is saying. Another part might start trying to think of examples confirming or challenging what we are hearing. We may even come up with reasons why they are not completely correct. Try to slow down. Focus on what the person is sharing. One way to do that is by repeating what they shared in your own words.
Next, say thank you. If a student or a direct report is sharing that you have engaged in a microaggression, they are doing it because it's important and impactful to them. They may be worried that by telling you, they may upset someone who has control over what happens to their career or education. You can do a lot to restore the relationship by acknowledging the effort and courage they exhibited by telling you.
Finally, apologize. When apologizing, it is best to be direct and specific. Acknowledge the impact that your actions had on the person. While it's probably the case that you did not intend to cause harm, you can show respect and empathy by not trying to justify your actions. Rather than focusing on what you meant, focus on the person who is sharing that they experienced harm. It can also be meaningful to describe how you'll try to do better in the future. If you're not sure yet, you can commit to doing research about how you can do better.
Let's see an example of these tips for listening, thanking, and apologizing in the moment.
Hey, Christine. Thanks for stopping by my office hours. What can I help with?
Hi, Professor. I wanted to share something that's been on my mind. It really bothers me that most of the scholars on the syllabus are white men.
Okay. I just want to make sure I'm understanding your concerns. It sounds like it has been hurtful that there aren't many women and people of color on the syllabus. Is that right?
Yeah, that's exactly right. When I see a syllabus like this, it makes me feel as though people who have an identity like me can't be in this field and like our contributions aren't important.
I see. Well, Christine, thank you so much for bringing this to my attention. I can definitely see how that makes the class and the field feel as though it isn't inclusive. I'm sorry that I wasn't intentional about including more kinds of scholars on my syllabus. You know, one thing I can do is to make sure to do some research on how other scholars in my field make their syllabi more inclusive.
You've seen how to apply some of these ideas in the moment if someone is giving you feedback. But how can you plan to do better in the future?
Develop a learning plan. One action you can take is to learn more. Search online. You can often find information about the history and harm around microaggression. Set learning goals for yourself. Try to be specific and realistic with these learning goals. Maybe it's something like committing to engaging with one relevant resource within the next month.
Find accountability partners. Find people with similar levels of privilege as you to check in about equity and inclusion feedback you've received and to discuss how efforts to address this feedback are going. Processing with accountability partners can help ensure you're not forcing people with less power than you to do emotional labor for you or make you feel better. Accountability partners can offer you perspective about the situation, help you brainstorm, and help keep these issues on your radar.
Receive ongoing feedback. Figure out ways to make it safe for others to give you further feedback around DEI issues. Examples include regular anonymous surveys, regular check-ins with team members to normalize exchanging information about what we are doing well or poorly across power dynamics, and group agreements at the beginning of the quarter to discuss what your shared values are in the workplace or classroom.
And finally, commit to lifelong learning. Bias and perspectives on race and identity are ingrained from a very young age. It may take time to unpack ways you are seeing the world and to change. Don't be discouraged. It takes consistent commitment to change our language and behavior.